Howdy. This is the Views from the Schott podcast. I'm your host, your one and only host, Tim Miller. And today it is Friday, October 31st, 2025. And I wish you a very, very, very happy National Doorbell Day. Well, today's show is the last of the 2025 season preview series. Today, we cover game number one for the Ohio State University Buckeyes as they get ready to take on the IU Indy Jaguars or Jaguars, depending on how you may prefer to pronounce it, coming up here on Monday. This is a fun day because I look forward to this show every year. We're finally getting back into basketball. I love the transfer portal. I love doing the mailbag episodes. I love talking recruiting, but there's just something about the consistency of getting ready for a game, recapping a game, getting ready for a game, recapping a game. I guess for me, it's kind of thoughtless. I don't know, but it's such a good time. And maybe you can identify with that, with just feeling, Saturday will come and we'll be excited for a pumpkin patch if we're into that, or watching Ohio State, Penn State. We love our NFL, but we can be excited for a Monday for the first time in a long time because our Ohio State Buckeyes play basketball. It's rare. It's really rare to be excited for a Monday, but hopefully if you're tuned into this show, you will be excited for Monday for Ohio State to play IU Indy, potentially one of the worst teams in college basketball. We'll talk about it on this show, but if you can identify with that at all, well, then I encourage you to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. 5-star review. Can't let the Nut House win. We just can't. Not this time of year, especially. And follow on the socials at the Schott Pod on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, you can subscribe on YouTube. I want to thank you all who locked in and said, we got to help out. We got to subscribe. We got the numbers where we wanted them to. We've accomplished our goal with one episode to spare. So very thankful for that, and very thankful to have you back here. This will be the third full season and fourth total season covering Ohio State men's basketball for me. So I am more than tickled to be here with you. And I hope you're feeling tickled as well. On today's show, we talk Ohio State taking on IU Indy. If you're new around here, here's how this goes, okay? We will preview every single game unless there's some kind of crazy scheduling like holidays. Sometimes those things come up, but for the most part, we will preview every single game and recap every single game as well on YouTube and on podcast. Here's what we do. We'll talk about the background of the team. What have they done this year? Obviously, nothing early on in the year. So we'll more so look at what did they do last year. We'll talk about kind of program history between the two and just any background key notes for teams. And I've got a lot of good stuff here for IU Indy. And then we get into actually breaking down the game. How does IU Indy's offense match up with the Buckeyes defense and vice versa? And then we'll kind of talk about any other key storylines or keys to the game for Ohio State to win. And then I'll get you into predictions as well. Something else you should know if you're new here. We've got something called the BIP, the Betting Intelligence Platform, okay? What that does last year was make us a lot of money if you tailed. I'll show you when the time comes how successful the BIP was. It was insane. Do I expect those types of numbers this year? No, probably not necessarily. However, we'll keep a good look on it. I mean, we will keep our eyes glued on the BIP this year. And I will at least let you know that while as of the time of recording here on Friday morning, we've got no numbers from Vegas at this point. We'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you know where these numbers are projected to be and if there's anything there that you should keep an eye on for your money if you're into that. If not, it's just I find it interesting content regardless. All right. Views from the Schott podcast.substack.com. Get there for completely free. You know the drill. I can talk about all you want. Just go there, visit there, and look at the content that's there, and then subscribe for free. Or you can join the exclusive chat as well. Okay. 2025 season preview series concludes with this episode, Ohio State taking on IU Indy. Let's get in some background for IU Indy, the first game preview of the season for in Bart Torvik. We've lost a fair amount of Division I programs in college basketball from last season. This is a team projected to be among the worst in college basketball, at least analytically. Ohio State is 3-0 all time against IU Indy. They last met in 2022 when Ohio State won 83-37. I made a mental note to grab some stats from that game, but I didn't do that. So that is on me. Bruce Thornton played in that game, though. That's all I got. IU Indy went 10-22 last season. You may think that's bad, and you may think it's bad at Ohio State right now. You're very frustrated with how the Buckeyes have played and the lack of success in the regular season, lack of success the past 3 years, even making the NCAA tournament, and lack of success, I guess, overall for what 10 years now, I guess. You may think it's bad. IU Indy 10-22 last season. In the previous 5 seasons before that, they won 8 games or less, single digit wins across an entire season. They have not finished over 500, which is to say, they have not won more games than they lost since 2011. The last time, let's break it down this way. IU Indy winning seasons since 2011, 1. Ohio State Final Four runs since 2011, 1. Ohio State still had one Final Four run left in them under Thad Matta since the last time IU Indy finished over 500. That's not good. Ohio State made their last Final Four run with Thad Matta in 2012. So it's been a long time. It's been a really, really long time since IU Indy has been good whatsoever. I don't know the last time they made the NCAA tournament. I just want to know who's monitoring this stuff. Like, I think someone's gonna have to pull up their britches and sit down with IU Indy and say, hey guys, like, we really appreciate your commitment to being a Division I men's college basketball program here in the NCAA. It's been awesome having you guys, really. It's been cool. We'll let you leave out the back door. You got to get out of D1. This stuff right here, it's not good enough. Okay, so I'm sorry, but it's time for you to go. We need to have that. Who's monitoring this stuff? I don't know. I'm assuming no one. Offensively, defensively, you name it. At least defensively, I will say this: they are projected to be the worst defense Ohio State will play all season, at least analytically speaking, from Bart Torvik and Ken Palm. They do have a new head coach. Okay, here's what I'll say. You may think I'm going to jump on this podcast and, based on what I've said already about IU Indy, be really, really negative about them. Number one, and I've learned this, there are, especially in games like this, when Ohio State plays these regional teams, there are parents, there are families, there are sometimes players who will listen to this show because it's the only preview out there they're going to get all year on a game that their son is playing in. So they will listen to the show. So I'm not going to badmouth them, first of all, because it's not the right thing to do. Second of all, because I'm not trying to go make like Melissa from Maria Stein upset because her son just got roasted for playing for IU Indy. I'm not about to be that guy, but I think there might be some potential here for IU Indy to be pretty good this year. I'll talk about that in a second. It starts with their new head coach, Ben Howlett. He's coming in from D2 West Liberty. Again, shout out Logan County, but this is the West Liberty in West Virginia. D2 program there. They won a conference championship every single season under Ben Howlett. Every single year, they just won the conference title. Just boom, one after another. 2023 national runner-up as well. So during his time at West Liberty, absolutely not a pushover. Now he comes in to IU Indy. They return one player. They're projected, at, like I said, as one of the worst teams in the country. In a secret scrimmage, they lost to Southern Indiana, who's barely inside the top 300. They lost to Southern Indiana 116-83. That's about, what, 30-ish points loss? Maybe close to 40, 38. Doesn't seem to be a good omen on the season, but we got to see. We got to see. And again, they just returned one player. He played 9 games last year. And IU Indy is bringing in a bunch from West Liberty. So the question is, can this be a program that can win in Division I with a bunch of Division II players? We will figure that out, I guess, together. But today, I'd like to listen to a basketball podcast about West Liberty men's basketball in D2. I'm your guy. I got the numbers for you. I just want to know. Again, I feel like it's worth a subscription, maybe a like on YouTube. Whom else here is getting you this type of information? I'm just wondering. I went hard researching West Liberty D2 last night. I don't know, man. I don't know. So, if Ben Howlett, what he has done at West Liberty can be brought to and transplanted to IU Indy and D1, then this IU Indy team is going to be interesting to watch this year. Okay. Here are their finishes and offensive rating over the past, 7 years? 7 years. And offensive rating, they were 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. In the conference, Tim? No. In the entire nation. In all of Division 2. Those are their finishes and offensive rating. Now, they also haven't finished worse than 4th in points per game in the entire nation under Ben Howlett. And last year, they scored 100.2 points per game. That was 2nd in the nation in Division 2. How do you score 100.2 points per game and still be 2nd? Maybe I'm being outed as a D2 casual right now, which I'm more than willing to put my hand up and say, but 100.2 points per game, you're 2nd in the nation. They scored 162 points in a game last year, did Ben Howlett at West Liberty in West Virginia. They scored 162 points in a game. Guess how many overtimes it took to get there? I'll give you a couple seconds to think. You want the Jeopardy music? Too bad. I don't have the rights to it. I'll answer it. 0 overtime periods. They scored 162 points in a 40-minute game. You want to talk about not monitoring low D1 men's college basketball? I think we also don't have anyone monitoring what's going on in Division 2 college basketball. Why are we scoring 162 points in a game without overtime? That should be a crime. Pace, super high under Ben Howlett. It's been just as high as the offensive rating and points per game numbers nationally. So how do they do it? Well, I, as a basketball sicko, I crunched some West Virginia. I got to stop saying West Virginia. I'm going to start getting upset with myself. And you may too. I crunched some West Liberty film over the past couple days. Is it easy to find? No. Did I find some? Yes. Did I find a lot? Absolutely not. But from what I found, I saw an offense that's pretty fun to watch. Okay. So, first of all, how they do it, they'll shoot the 3 ball. Bombs away, baby. 43% 3-point attempt rate last season, which is lower than average kind of historically under Ben Howlett, but still a very, very high number. Almost half of your field goal attempts are coming from behind the 3-point line. That's a lot. They also have shot a very high percentage from the 3-point line as well offensively under Ben Howlett. Again, I bring all this up to say the caveat is this is now Division I basketball. Will this work at IU Indy? Will it work in the horizon? Will it work against Ohio State? We'll see. But at least giving you context of what you might be able to expect on Monday. So shoot a high percentage from the 3-point line. They shoot a lot of 3-pointers as well. But there's a reason they call basketball the beautiful game, okay? It's basketball. Basketball is a beautiful game. We call it that, at least on this show. Even with all the possessions, running up and down the floor, a lot of passing in this offense. Offensive turnovers are low, and the turnover rate is even better. You would expect the turnover numbers to be at least medium bad, I guess, if that's a good phrase to use, just simply because you have so many possessions. You're more likely to turn the ball over, right? In terms of sheer raw production of turnovers, you would think that number could potentially be just okay. It's not. It's good. And the turnover rate makes you look even better because of the amount of possessions that you got. They were 4th in assist rate last season in all of D2. They were 1st the year before that. So what's that mean for Ohio State defensively? Well, the Buckeyes are going to have to keep their head on a swivel. Ball movement, rotation spacing. You'll see a lot of times, especially a big man who'll get the ball at the 3-point line. He'll pass, kind of lull you to sleep for a half second, and then boom, he's gone, cutting to the basket. You're gonna have to obviously act as if I know ball, but you're busting these cutters, trying to make sure you're staying active and staying in good position so that they can't cut to the basket, grab a pass, go up for a layup. They will try to get you out of position defensively, and try to take advantage. So Ohio State, especially with this pace, you're going to have to get back as soon as possible. That's something Ohio State is going to have to keep an eye on defensively, which could be interesting in this game. As far as players, look, they returned one guy from last year. He played 9 games. Outside of that, they've got a bunch of people coming in from West Liberty with Ben Howlett. All those players are GP. Sorry, it's JP. These names are just Division Two. Like if I just said these names to you before, like just out of random, I just dropped some names to you and I said, "Is this a D1 player or not?" You would say no to all of them. Kyler D'Agostino, Finley Woodward. That's a guy who sounds like he backs up Fletcher Lord at Purdue, but you get the point. JP Dragus, Cameron Tinsley. Cameron Tinsley, credit to him, okay? I hope he hears this. You have a Division 1 name. You deserve to be known as that. The rest of these guys, they sound like guys who were plucked from D2. Sorry. D'Agostino, he scored 17 points per game last year at West Liberty. He made the most of his shots inside the three-point line. Tinsley was the best shooter last year at West Liberty at 44% from the three-point line. So if you're looking for names to watch, those are probably the ones, especially Tinsley from deep and D'Agostino from everywhere. Good luck to the poor 17-year-old intern on Big Ten Plus, because this game will be on Big Ten Network Plus, by the way. So get the subscription if you don't have it already. Good luck saying that name. So that is the IU Indy projected offense. I told you, I think in the last show, or yeah, when I predicted the Ohio State IU Indy game, I told you it's going to be a wild game. This is part of the reason why, because of their offense. But wait, there's more. It's the Ohio State offense against the IU Indy defense. So the first thing that you'll see from Ben Howlett, they press for 40 minutes a game. They do not stop pressing. They won't. Full court press all game. It's my diagnosis, like 2-1-2 diamond press type where you're looking to get traps in the corner. You've got a robber playing in the middle of the court, kind of designed to force turnovers and go grab errant passes and things like that. But it's 40 minutes of pressure and pressure and pressure. So this is, I'm assuming, designed not just to force turnovers and to make opposing teams feel uncomfortable, but also to slow them down. Ohio State under Jake Diebler, you're going to have two clashing approaches here. One is where Jake Diebler wants to move the ball. He wants to push the ball up the floor. He wants the guards sprinting the ball down the floor, essentially, and getting good looks, getting buckets. On the flip side, you're going against a defense who, if you try to speed up, if you try to push the ball down the floor, they will be waiting like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Halloween reference, kind of. They will be waiting for that ball to drift into the waiting yards of a IU Indy player. So you've got to keep your head up. You've got to be aware, and you cannot get lulled to sleep by this pressure. So that's one thing you got to look at. In turn, steal rates under Ben Howlett, excellent. Top 15 or better usually in the nation in D2. I would love to see a split between press and half court steals. A lot of the steals that I saw came off the press, but I don't have numbers for that. I'm not sure that anyone does. So I don't know. Maybe it's just as simple as you get the ball past the half court line and you're okay, but we'll see. They will up the pressure everywhere around the court. Bruce Thornton, shouldn't be surprised. Like, this shouldn't be an issue necessarily for him. He's played so much college basketball. I don't see that being an issue. But guys like Tayson Chapman, who didn't play all of last season, Gabe Cupps, who didn't play all of last season, he got a lot of playing time, obviously, his freshman year at Indiana. But those are some guards who are going to have the ball in their hands. They're going to have to be ready to handle this pressure, to not throw live ball passes, to not throw turnovers in their own side of the court to where it's picked off, it's one pass and it's a layup for IU Indy. They're going to try to get some cheap buckets, and they probably will get some cheap buckets in this game. You've got to be able to limit that. The defensive rating, the points per game allowed, not where the offense has been. It's still been good, but going into this season, defensively, Ken Palm has them projected 361st, I think, out of 363 teams this year. Let's check on that just to be sure. Here we go. Just a second. Stick with me. Got to scroll. 365 teams this year. So there's a lot of teams in college basketball, D1, as we know. 361st. That would be what? Fourth worst. Projected by Ken Palm. Bart Torvik also has them projected very lowly as well at 353rd this season. So not high on the IU Indy defense. The size isn't horrible defensively, especially as you would expect for a lower level D1 program. You've got a 6'9" kid, a couple 6'8s, and a couple of 6'7s. So there's some size there. And again, overall, I'm not going to badmouth IU Indy. They had to go out and get a coach. I would assume that any single time this job is open, it's probably a bottom 10 opening in all of college basketball. So you got to find unique ways to get your guy. And in this case, IU Indy went out and they got a guy who won and won and won all the time at a Division II level. Will it transfer to Division I? We will see. All right. Keys to this game for Ohio State. Number one, break the press before it can break you. Does it sound a little corny? Probably, but it's true. You've got to break this press and you've got to be able to handle it in the first 4 minutes of this game. Because I can tell you what's going to be really frustrating is if there's 17 minutes and 6 seconds left on the clock in the first half, and it's like 11-7, IU Indy's gotten a lead because Ohio State has already turned the ball over twice because of the full court press. That's going to piss all of us off. Jake Dietler's going to call a timeout, and it's not going to be a fun way to start the season. Ohio State could still go on to win this game 100-63. But if you start the game that way, it's going to be frustrating, and I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to go down the path where Ohio State consistently is struggling to get the ball out. I don't really have that much of a concern that they will, but it's possible. So you got to break this press before it can break you in this game. Will you be broken bad enough to lose? I certainly doubt it, but that's why they play the game. Number two, you got to have uber heightened awareness in this game. This is not a game that you can coast to. This is not a game that you can say, well, it's IU Indy. They've been really bad. They don't have good athletes. We're supposed to beat them by 30 or so. Like, I'm not worried about it. You can't coast in this game. This is going to be a game where as long as you can play your game and play your play style and move the ball up and down the floor, you're going to be fine. You've got the better athletes. All of that is true. But you can let IU Indy stay in this game for much longer than it deserves simply by playing with a lower sense of awareness. That means offensively, for the traps in the full court, for the robber, not throwing the ball up in the middle of the court, that's going to lead to turnovers for sure. They're going to be ready to face turnovers. You got to be hyper aware. On the defensive side, for cutters, on the pace, for quick trigger threes and log rebounds, things like that, those are going to be available to you, but you got to be prepared. You got to be ready to have the opportunities to make those stops. And the last key to the game, make sure Braylon Nash scores. This is a game that you should win by 30, okay? I haven't made my prediction yet. I'll do that at the end of the show, but this is a game on paper you should be winning by enough points to where not only can Braylon Nash get in for the last minute or two of the game, but Braylon Nash can get 4 or 5 minutes in this game, and he can score. Same thing with Miles Harrow. Braylon Nash, man, he's the guy you root for at this point, so we root for him to get a bucket in this game. All right. So as we kind of close this showdown and we talk about the predictions for this game, where does the BIP see this game and all that, the biggest question I have going into this is, can you build a successful Division I team with a large chunk of your contributors coming from Division II? I don't know if it's possible. That's the biggest question I have. That's who IU Indy is. It's a head coach from D2 now to D1. Not only is it a new coach at IU Indy, not only is it a first-year head coach in Division I, but all of this stuff culminates with you bringing a bunch of players from where you're successful at D2. Now, that can make you excited for sure. It's also a big time bet that you're making there at IU Indy. So that's my biggest question that I've got. Here's what the BIP says, and I guess I'll show you this now. Do I even have this pulled up? If not, that would be just gross misconduct on my behalf. Let me get it. I'm going to show you, if you're watching on YouTube, just so you know, I'm not lying about this, about where the BIP was last year. I'm not telling you that I'm a betting expert, because I'm not, but here's what I did. I built based off of kind of historical context, trends that I found, a little bit of AI sprinkled in, like real AI, not like Chat GPT, give me some picks for today. I need something to bet on. Like real stuff, along with some platforms that I use to kind of build out some formulas. And in return, I used this all of last year, and I will show you, okay? Do you see this? I'm not lying. I know it's backwards, but here's what we got last year. We're 55, 39, and 1. That led to a plus 25% ROI. And if you would have tailed every single pick on the BIP last year, you would have been up 20 units by the end of the year. And these were also picks, by the way. Let's see here. So I'm anti-parlay. Sometimes if the value's there, we'll take it, though. Plus 107 cashes, minus 130, minus 148, plus 122, plus 105, plus 119. These were all some bets that were hitting last year. So as a part of the BIP, I would take some plus money bets, and I'd give these out on the show. They're not Ohio State related. If you want to take them, fine. But my recommendation is do not take these and act like they're locks. I have no idea if this is going to work this year, okay? It's pretty much the exact same formula as last year. I don't know if it's going to work. So if you are going to tail, and if you're going to be a degenerate betting on Bethune-Cookman and Kent State, we loved betting Kent State last year. If you're going to do that, just know these are not locks. These are not guaranteed. And I'm not responsible if you lose. I bet very small amounts of money, bets that even if they do lose, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Sorry, that's my approach. If you go big money, if you try to parlay everything together, you're going to be mad at me. And I'm just telling you, stay out of there if you can't handle that. Okay. All that said, here's where the BIP projects this game. The BIP projects Ohio State to be favored by 33.5. That's where it says the line should be spread wise in this game. So that would be Ohio State winning this game by 30 plus points. It's got the total at 153.5 and a team total for Ohio State at 93.5. Here's what I will tell you, okay? I think this could go sideways pretty quickly for IU Indy, and Ohio State can pick up a big-time win to start off this year. Ken Palm has Ohio State. Let me make sure it's Ken Palm and not Bart Torvik. So hold with me for just 1 second here. Sorry, I gotta scroll a lot because I end up scrolling all the way to the bottom. Okay. Ken Palm's got Ohio State's offense 13th in the nation. However, Bart Torvik has Ohio State as the number 3 offense in the nation this season. That's their projection, okay? Or his projection, I guess I should say. This should be a very, very good offense. The defensive metrics were okay. They were good. They were not elite, as elite for sure as the metrics for Ben Howlett offensively. I think this is a game where Ohio State scores 100 points. I think they start the season scoring 100 points. They just gave up over 100 points by a lot to Southern Indiana, who again is barely within the top 300 of college basketball analytically to start the year. If you're going to do that to Southern Indiana, I don't see how the number 3 rated team in projected for Bart Torvik this year offensively in Ohio State can't put up 100 points. I think their team total is probably going to be around 93 and a half. Anything at 93 and a half, I will even take it up to 97 and a half. I'm taking Ohio State's over team total in this game. That is not a banger bet yet. If it is, I will let you know. But just be aware that when these numbers come out for the game, the BIP projects this as Ohio State minus 33 and a half, total around 153.5, 153 and a half, and the team total for Ohio State 93 and a half. I think Ohio State scores over 100 points in this game. I think Ohio State, even with all the success that IU Indy has or Ben Howlett has had at West Liberty, even with all the success there that they've had offensively, even with bringing your guys in from D2 to D1 at IU Indy, I don't see a world right now where this game is close. I don't see a world right now where Ohio State doesn't just get out to a sprint and scoring a bunch of points early. This should be a game where Bruce Thornton, John Oley Jr., Devin Royal, those guys are getting theirs. And on the flip side, because of this press of IU Indy, that means Christoph Tilley and Brandon Knowles should be playing a nice little two-man game on the other side of the floor. And that's the thing. When you break the press, when you get the ball on your side of the floor, if you get it there quickly enough, then you've got a 2-on-1 opportunity. So you should be looking at Brandon Knowles, should be looking at Christoph Tilley most likely with a couple of assists and scoring some layups or dunks off the press as well. Buckeyes should be able to get some quick buckets that way. That's another reason why, along with the pace in this game that I think should be very, very high. That's why I think Ohio State can get out to a huge lead early and score a lot of points in this game. So I will take Ohio State to obviously win this game. We'll see what the spread comes out. I don't know if I'll pick them to cover or not. I won't have a show on that. Not that it necessarily matters, but I think Ohio State wins this game. I think they score over 100 points, and IU Indy may be able to score here. They may be able to put up 70, but this is a game where I think Ohio State looks really, really good offensively. There have not been issues from what I've heard in the preseason of where they feel they are offensively. There are sure question marks on the defensive side. Offensively, no. So that's why for game one, you're going to go on and take on a program that it has a bunch of newness on it that gave up over 100 points to a much worse team than you. I think Ohio State can put up 100. I think they can feel comfortable offensively in this game. And it's Monday night at about 8:30, and you're happy with where Ohio State went. All right. That's the prediction show. That's how these preview shows will go. About 30 minutes. We'll give you all the details that I can find on the opposing team. I've gotten a lot of good feedback that, hey, like I don't find this content elsewhere. It's super insightful. Appreciate all the work that you put in. So I'm here for you again. Just use me. Use me. Okay, folks? Hope you appreciate the persistence there. Use me. It's fine. Whatever. Get on the Substack, please. Please get there. Follow on the socials. Excited for another year of Ohio State men's basketball. We will cover this team every single day here on this show, on the socials, on YouTube, all those types of things. So I encourage you to follow and subscribe on all of those platforms. But I am so excited. We're back, baby. We are so freaking back. We got a weekend to wait through, and then we will wake up on Monday and we'll spring out of bed and we'll say Buckeye basketball is back. And I have not felt more energy around this program. This is the most energy I've felt around this program since starting this show, at least on the preseason side. It's the most energy that I've felt. Now, it may be because I have a little better access inside the program this year than I have in previous years, but I mean, it feels right. It feels good. It feels like an NCAA tournament team. I already did my prediction show. I've got Ohio State in the tournament. I've got them pretty firmly in the tournament. Got them finishing around a 7 seed. That would be my projection right now. With honestly, my projection was probably more conservative than I guess maybe it should have been. But for this to be a 20-win team, it's more than possible. It's more than possible this team makes the NCAA tournament, and it's more likely than not. And I don't know. I think this team's going to be good. Offensively, I think they're going to be really, really good. We're going to have a lot to root for this year. All right. Thanks for watching or listening to today's show. I appreciate you being here. Again, please subscribe. If you like this content, you don't got to listen every show, but at least gives you the option, and it helps this show out a lot. Your one subscription helps out a lot. So we continue on. We'll see you on Monday live after the game on YouTube and on Twitter. Until then, thanks for listening today. I shut up before you shut off. Go Bucks.